All right, another morning and welcome to the show, Spring Sports on Western Spring Television, where we give you stories making headlines in the ever-busy world of sports. My name is Joseph Atara saying good morning.
And I am Nengi Ernest Ademola saying thank you for joining us this morning. In the NBA, the playing tournament is a fascinating, very fascinating wrinkle that serves us as a pause to the end of the regular season and also ushers us into the playoff, which we all are looking forward to. Meanwhile, Todd Boehly's daring prediction was way up from the result we got from the game between Real Madrid and Chelsea yesterday. More analysis of this and more coming your way this morning. But first off, let's start from the local scene, where we'll talk about the Nigerian Women Football League, because yesterday games were agog in various match centers across Nigeria, and that was match day 13 in the NWFL so far this season. And that brings us to the full results and how the table stands when you talk about the Nigerian Women Football League. And if we can have that being displayed on our screen, let's talk about the results. First and foremost, Adamawa Queens went against Abia Angels. That one ended 1-0 in favor of Adamawa Queens. Oshun Babes, who are currently languishing in the relegation zone, 7th on the Group A log, went against Bayelsa Queens. Of course, that one was just a one-way traffic for Bayelsa Queens to be able to catch the ticket. And I tell you for sure that some of these teams, both from Group A and Group B, have secured the spot in the Nigerian Women Football League Super 6. That is to be agog anytime from now. And Confluence Queens went against Nasra Amazons. That one ended in a stalemate. Rivers Angels played host to Heartland Queens. 1-0. It ended in favor of Rivers Angels. Niger Rattles went against Delta Queens. That one also ended in a goalless draw. Of course, we didn't see that one coming, because when two elephants meet, definitely the better side always wins. But this one, it proves to be that both sides were actually good, and maybe we're not clinical enough to be able to punch in the opportunities at the back of the net. Now we'll talk about Edo Queens, because they had the biggest win of match day 13 in the Nigerian Women Football League. They got 4 goals, 4 unanswered goals past their opponent, Ibom Angels. And 1 out of the 4 goals was an own goal from one of the players from Ibom Angels. And the rest were scored by the likes of Godwin Eunice, Abidin Suliat, as well as Fajobi Yetunde. Congratulations to them. And that's the table being displayed on the screen for Group A. We have Delta Queens FC 25 points, followed by Bayelsa Queens FC 22 points, and Rivers Angels FC getting 90 points. And you can see the green highlight from number 1 to 3, which means that they've secured their spot for the Super 6 in the NWFL. Now moving on to Group B, we have Edo Queens FC 22 points. Followed by Confluence Queens, 21 points, FC Robo Queens, 19 points. Still highlighted in green, that means they've been able to secure the spot to the Super 6 of the NWFL this season. Oshun Babes currently, like I said before, languishing in the relegation zone, 7th on that log with 7 points. Also, Ibom Angels, who got a heavy defeat yesterday, most especially against their opponent, Edo Queens, still 7th on the Group B log with just 6 points. Joseph, let's talk about the NWFL, because so far so good. We cannot say it's there at the moment. We cannot say it's perfect. But whenever you look at these teams, whenever you look at the NWFL, you can amount to the fact that there is a high progress going on in the NWFL, in the sense that we do not have to see those regular complaints, those regular things we do see in the NPFL so far. And I'm rating them high for this one so far for the season.
All right, yes, of course. The girls have been doing well so far in the league. Just to correct that, the highlighted greens means that they might be securing the position in the Super 6, because there are more games to be played. Exactly. But just as you rightly stated, the highlighted green means that they might be securing the position in the Super 6. But then for Oshun Babes, I'm disappointed. Started like a house on fire, 7.2 points off safety, with less than 4 or 5 matches to go in the NWFL. What they're looking for right now is to get more wins, but losing at home rather yesterday wasn't really a good one. But they played Bayelsa Queens. Very understandable why that happened in that one. And for Abia Angels, I was expecting more from them. Ibom Angels beaten by Edo Queens 4-0 shows the strength of the Queens from Edo State in that one. All in all, let's see how it goes. But then we know that some of these teams might be securing the position, the Super 6. But then for Oshun Babes, which is our own team here in Osun State, we're expecting that they survive relegation.
And looking at the ones highlighted in green, just like Joseph has rightly stated, that they might as well secure the spots for the Super 6. Talking about Edo Queens, I think they have an outstanding match that will come next week, Wednesday, against Abia Angels. And Abia Angels sit 6th in the Group B log with just 13 points. And so we could actually say that from here, the likes of Edo Queens might as well, you know, be able to grant that one and get into the Super 6. But talking about Edo Queens, these are people that have played over the years in the NWFL, and I tell you for sure they've been able to get to the Super 6 at every season for the NWFL, but at a point in time you find them being very inconsistent and shaky, most especially when they take on the likes of Delta Queens, the likes of Bowser Queens, the likes of Rivers Angel, of course this time around standing in the Group A of the NWFL. But we'll see how things pans out to be. We do hope that luck will fall on their side, and aside from that, the likes of the Delta Queens, Biosu Queens and Rivers Angel, also one would say that it's a one-way traffic for them to get into the Super 6 for this season. But so far so good. They've been able to show us that they're capable of doing that, and we'll see how things also pans out to be for them. The likes of Niger Rattles, of course, I was expecting that they would be tops in Group A, but unfortunately they're still fourth. But with some games in hand, we'll see how it pans out to be also for them. So both Group A and Group B, I tell you for sure, a very tough one coming ahead of us, most especially for the Super 6, and we do expect that these girls will be professional enough to be able to get themselves into the Super 6, and as well as that, getting yourself into the Super 6, especially for the finals, and winning the finals in the NWFL gives them a spot to represent us for the CAF Women's Champions League. And it will be an honor for whoever does this for us in the NWFL this time around.
And away from female football, Lobby Stars defeated league champions Rivers United 3-2 in the rescheduled Nigeria Premier Football League NPFL Matchday 11th fixture at the New Jos Stadium in Jos on Wednesday. The encounter, which was a top-of-the-table clash, saw coach Stanley Eguma named an unchanged lineup after a size goalless draw against Niger Tornadoes in Kaduna on the 2nd of April. The encounter, which was a top-of-the-table clash, I beg your pardon, while his counterpart Mohamed Babanganau brought back Monday Akila into the starting 11 after the midfielder had earlier missed his team's 2-0 victory over Abia Warriors on March the 13th. The host started on the strong foot with a good goal opportunity initiated by John Lazarus after his precise cross into the 18-yard box wasn't utilized by Saul Kumaga as the striker's shot went out of goal kick in the 10th minute. Rivers United woeful evening continued as Nigerian international goalkeeper Victor Sochima was shown a straight red card after he handled the ball outside the box when Kumaga of Lobby Stars put the ball above him just 4 minutes before the half-hour mark, forcing the away side to make an early change as the game ended in a barren first half draw. Into the second half, the CAF Confederations Cup quarter-finalists then took the lead from a free kick through Mohamed Farouk in the 66th minute off the counter. Now 5 minutes later, the hosts then drew level after Umar Abbas' left-footed strike, a big Victor Shosima's replacement in Darlington Ovunda. And after 90 minutes, it ended 3-2 in favor of Lobby Stars.
And actually nobody saw that one coming. Most people were tipping Rivers United with the wonders they've been able to do in the NPFL so far, as well as getting us to the quarterfinals of the CAF Confederation Cup. No one saw that they were going to lose this game yesterday. But let's just talk about some of the goals. Who was involved in the goals yesterday for Rivers United. Farouk Mohammed scored in the 64th minute, as well as Nyima Nwagwa in the 90th minute. That's for Rivers United. But as for Lobby Stars, Abba Umar got a 69th minute goal, as well as Wasiu Alalade, an 85th minute goal. Elijah Ani got that one in the stoppage and extra time, 90 plus 6 minutes. And if you look at the table right now for Group B, it is Lobby Stars leading with 26 points and Rivers United FC following with 20 points, and also Niger Tornadoes third on that one. That's about the NPFL. And talking about the fact that we've said this before, Joseph, talking about prioritizing which of the competitions they want to have in hand. Is it the NPFL or the CAF Confederation Cup? Just like I said on that day where we're trying to analyze this, I think that was on a Tuesday or on a Monday, we talked about the fact that no one expected that Rivers United was going to go this far in the CAF Confederation Cup, but definitely they're doing their best, and let's see how things pans out to be, most especially for the NPFL and also as the representatives for the CAF Confederation Cup.
All right, so just before we move to other stories, I think for Rivers United, it shows their strength and what they did yesterday. They collected the red card, a most important position, the goalkeeping position, and they still fought really hard. It ended 3-2. Lobby had the one-man advantage, which they took advantage of. And away from that, this is the chairman of Interim Management Committee, IMC, Gbenga Elegbeleye, has reiterated that the target of the committee is to ensure the Nigeria Premier League, that's the NPFL, is rated among the best leagues in the continent of Africa. The IMC chairman lamented that the Nigerian league is currently not rated among the 10 best leagues in Africa, adding that the league management body is working day and night to ensure the lost glory of the NPFL is restored. Now, speaking on Wednesday in Abuja, during the performance of appraisal of the season for the league, Honorable Elegbeleye said they identified 3 factors that needed urgent attention if the league must be stabilized. According to him, to achieve the interim committee's desire of having the best league in Africa, they needed to face the 3 most important things out of other challenges. Well, some of the things they said they give 10 million to each NPFL clubs, as take of grants and timely sanctions and hearing clubs. These were some of the things they stated they believe will help grow the league.
And we are also hoping as sports journalists that the league will grow. And just like I said yesterday, that as opposed to what the LMC did with this particular league, that's the Nigerian Premier Football League last season, we're seeing a whole lot of changes, and kudos must be given to the IMC for being able to handle some of these issues and not letting them out of hand. And to just conclude on the Nigerian Premier Football League, with 5 games to the end of the regular season in the 2022-2023 abridged Nigerian Premier Football League season, the races for a survival and Super 6 finish are hotting up, with clubs getting jostling for available slots in this one. And let's talk about some notable names that have come up in the NPFL so far. We have strikers, the likes of Emeka Obioma, who has been performing fantastically well for Enyimba. Although you'd see that Enyimba is inconsistent so far this season, but that's one man that is having the season of his life. He has been able to score 10 goals in 13 games already. Now, aside that, we also have Robert Mizo from Bayelsa United, who are 3 points and they place above the relegation zone, but they have a man that has been in contrasting form with their campaign this time around. And Joseph, was seeing so many stars rising, most especially in this abridged league version. And we also have one person, a very popular man in person of Sarenkoy Imade, that's from Bendel Insurance, and he's arguably the biggest revelation of the season so far because he has shared the spotlight with his club Bendel Insurance. From match day 1, I mean, we've been able to follow Imade so far, and I tell you for sure he's one man that has written his name on a platter, on a silver platter this time around in the NPFL. And we also have the likes of David Okoromi from Niger Tornadoes, Samuel Yarinde from 3SC Shooting Stars. Midfielders will have the likes of Cyril Olisema and Atule Umar from Lobby Stars, who are currently leading the NPFL in Group B. For defenders, we have Ebube Duru from Rivers United, Ifeanyi Anaemena from Ramos Stars. For the goalkeepers, also we have the names of Amas Obasebie from Bendel Insurance, starring very well this season, most especially as an abridged league. Kingdom Osai from Doma United. And these are some of the notable names that we have performing for each of their club sides. And what you have on your screen currently is that of the Nigerian Women Football League Super 6. Those are confirmed pictures of the clubs that have qualified for the Super 6. That is what is being displayed currently on the screen.
All right, away from that, the Confederation of African Football CAF has amended the dates for the 2023 Women's Champions League. The qualifying edition, which was originally scheduled for September 10 to 25, will now take place in Cote d'Ivoire from Friday, the 18th of August to Sunday, the 30th of September 2023. The 7 WAFOB Zone B Association are expected to present the national champions to compete for a slot in the Women's Champions League. The countries include Ghana, Niger, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Benin, Togo, and host Cote d'Ivoire. Bayelsa Queens represented Nigeria in the last edition of the tournament.
And speaking about the WAFUB Women's Champions League, I tell you for sure it has been an interesting one so far from Nigeria. And I remember, I can't pick up the particular year right now, but that was the year where Rivers United represented us in that one. They didn't go so far. In fact, it was very disappointing, a very disappointing performance we got from Rivers United, Rivers Angels rather, in the CAF Women's Champions League. Notwithstanding, we got Bayelsa Queens to win the Super 6 competition of the Nigerian Women Football League, of which I was proudly present there, where we had the likes of Gift Monday starring in that one. It was a very a wonderful performance, very spectacular for us that day. And Bayelsa Queens went further to represent us at the CAF Women's Champions League. They did get far, but still at a point in time, I felt like they let complacency set in, and that was what actually moved them away from that one. And currently this time around, instead of moving it forward, it has been moved, and it's been shorter from August 18 this time around. So definitely we're hoping for the Super 6 to come as soon as possible, and let's see and hope who can represent us this time around for the CAF Women's Champions League.
All right, away from that, to move on with more stories making headlines here and on the local scene. We have stories coming in from the Nigeria, that's the national team here, but then the under-17 team. And what's the situation then? Exactly,
as the Nigerians Golden Eaglets set for the concluding part of their training for the upcoming Under-17 African Cup of Nations. Nduka Ogbade has said they will face each team as they come, and we usually hear this each and every time from coaches, taking one step at a time in the right direction for every game that comes in hand and every game that comes into their way. Now, the 5-time world champions are placed in one of the toughest groups of the competition, where they will play against the likes of Morocco, South Africa, and Zambia. And former Nigerian international admitted that the group is tough, but believed that they have what it takes to scale the hurdles. And here it says it's quite interesting. We have always been waiting for this moment. We will face every team as they come, one after the other. We're not talking about winning the AFCON. We're talking and planning about winning each match, one after the other. We will fight. That's most probably the toughest group. I have an idea of the West, South, North, and East African football, and these are great nations, but we are going to prepare ourselves for the onslaught. These were the words of Nduka Ogbade concerning the Under-17 team. That's the Golden Eaglets. We wish them all the best. We're talking about who they are to face, the likes of Morocco, the likes of South Africa, and Zambia. Joseph, we all know that these are improved sides when talking about football.
Well, maybe not powerhouses when it comes to age grade competition, but then these are notable names when it comes to African football, but can still be compared to Nigeria when it comes to the under-17. But one advantage Nigeria has is the experience they will bring into the side. Experience in the sense that not the players are not experienced. Don't forget they're under-17. But then they've got a coach who has won it before, and of course the technical crew, because Nigeria's won even the under-17 World Cup 5 times, and that's a record in Africa. And on the continent, they've also had a good record when it comes to the under-17. So that they will bring to the table, and they, of course, you expect other teams to give them that respect, but not on the pitch. So they will have to work day in, day and night if they really want to achieve something from the under-17 African Cup of Nations. And away from that, the Ministry of Sport and Youth Development on Wednesday said that the ministry neither request nor receive 21 billion for the rehabilitation of the National Stadium in Surulere, Lagos, debunking the misleading report in some section of the media. Dare said, and I quote, the attention of the Federal Ministry of Sport and Youth Development has been drawn to report in some section of the media that they requested for the sum of 21 billion to rehabilitate the stadium. Contrary to this report, this has become important to state clearly that the ministry has neither requested nor received any such amount from government or individual. The Director and Press and Public Relations, Mr. Mohammed Manga, in a statement made available to the media on Wednesday, said the minister in an interactive session with newsmen in Lagos last week only mentioned the figure as one of the estimated amount from the proposals received, which indicate that about the sum will be needed for the complete rehabilitation and upgrade of the national edifice based on submission made by different companies and the contractors. We also understand this morning that the Punch is reporting that the stadium owes a 950 million electricity bills.
I think we have a long way to go, most especially for sports in Nigeria. Like I would always say, it's more like we need a surgery in this particular one. Talking about the sport, talking about the NFF as a whole. We do understand the fact that the NFF as a whole definitely is trying their best to see how things can be able to work out, but maybe their best is just not good enough. That is why the media would always, want to take some of these words and, coin it in their own understanding and put it out there. But we do understand the fact that he has come out to clarify that. And just like the Punch newspaper reported this morning, that I think a particular stadium in Lagos and as well as Ibadan, they have a huge sum of electricity bills that has not been paid. And according to what the Punch states right there, that it has been there since 2018, if I'm not mistaken, and they are tired of taking these bills down to the stadium to, beg for payment and all of that. So all of these things is what we're supposed to work about. We're talking about infrastructure. All of this, it surrounds all of this, because just like a particular time where I think was it the match between Ghana and Nigeria where the lights went off, although so many people were of the opinion that they actually did that because when we went to Ghana they gave us a type of staircase that you couldn't even imagine would be coming out from an airplane. So we did that in repercussion for that and all of that. But it's not something that we want to write home about. It's something that is very disappointing when you talk about our NFF, when you talk about sports in Nigeria. And we do hope for changes. We do hope that at the end of the day, the 10 years football master plan, which has been submitted, and there's this particular program that was also approved by the president, and definitely let's see how things pans out to be from there.
Well, hopefully things gets better. Now, midway from the local scene, before we dive into the UEFA Champions League, let's just go on a break and give you highlights from some of the games that were played. Real Madrid were 2 goals better than Chelsea, while AC Milan, for the first time in more than 7 years, have beaten Napoli 3 times in a row. We'll be back.
Hi there, everyone. The last 2 winners of the UEFA Champions League meet remarkably for a 3rd consecutive season in the knockout stages of Europe's elite club competition. Chelsea put out Real Madrid in the semi-finals on their way to becoming champions in